Hey everyone, my name's Kelvin and welcome to my Procreate watercolor tutorial. I've got a really fun project for you guys today. We're going to paint this really simple birthday card illustration, this happy birthday illustration. Then we're going to place it on a template that I'll give you guys for free, print it out, and then I'll cut it out and make this cool final product here, this final birthday card. So the first thing I'll do is just start out with a blank watercolor texture paper, just the normal texture. And I'm going to do all of this with the normal brushes. And the first thing I want to do is just quickly draw some simple floral elements. And I think it's pretty self-explanatory. These are going to be so simple. So I'll just fast forward this and show you how I do this a little bit quickly. So I've got the basics here, some leaves and some kind of sticks. I want to do some quick and simple flowers. So I'll grab a little bit of a brighter color here. So here I've just made some really simple floral elements. I was thinking in my head like some kind of dried flowers or something like that. Now all of these are transparent and they're all on one layer. And what I mean by transparent is if I grab the selection tool and set it to freehand and just circle one of these, I can move it independently, but I want to make an arrangement, which means they're going to overlap. And you can see that there's this weird transparent effect going on. So what I want to do is make these no longer transparent, so they have a pure white background, and then I can use them as independent elements and then make that arrangement for the card. So what I'll do is I'll go to my layers panel, and as long as all of my elements are condensed onto this one layer, I'll make a duplicate of that layer, and then I'll turn the top one off and select the original one underneath, and I'm going to turn it pure white. So if I go to hue, saturation, and brightness, I can just crank up that whole layer to be 100% bright, and it looks like it disappears, but actually if I look in the layers panel, you can see it's still there. It's just all my elements are pure white, so they're blending into the background. And I can demonstrate that by just dropping in a color behind everything. So here's that blank random color, here's my white flowers, and then here's my colored flowers, the original ones, but that layer is switched off. So here's my colored flowers that I turned white. And if I make a few copies of that layer, you can see it gets increasingly opaque over in this area. And what I want to do is keep making copies and then merging them together until it's totally pure white. So I'm happy with this level of opacity. So let me turn on my upper layer there, and I can just delete that random color layer. So now I've got the original flowers and then the pure white flowers, and I'll merge those together. And what this essentially does is it gives each of these floral elements a white backing. So if I grab that same selection tool, set to freehand, select one of these, and I move it over the other ones, you can see there's no longer any transparent effect. And this is really handy because I'm going to use these elements to make an arrangement. So one more critical step for that is I need to separate all of these onto different layers. Right now it's just on this one layer, so I'll do that with the selection tool set to freehand. And I'll circle each element, and then I'll click copy and paste. And what that'll do is it'll make a copy of that element on the layer above. You just have to make sure you go back, select the original layer where they're all condensed together, grab that same selection tool again, select the next one, copy and paste, and repeat the process. Just the mistake or error that can happen is if you accidentally get stuck on one of these layers. After you copy and paste your selection, make sure you go back to the original layer, grab that selection tool, and then repeat the process. So I've gone through and made each of these elements separated onto its very own layer. So I don't need the original one anymore, so I'll just delete that. And now I want to make a layout for my card. So let's go to my layers panel, and I'm just going to turn everything off, and I'll make a blank layer at the top here, and I'm just going to do a quick sketch. Basically, let's grab my pencil there. Basically what I want to do is make a circle, and then all my elements are going to be sort of over on this side, And then I'm going to copy this later on and sort of swivel it down to the bottom. But I basically want this circle to mask everything off, and I don't want anything to go beyond that point. So let's use this sketch just to sort of rough out my arrangement. So now I've turned all of my elements on, and one by one I'm going to go through and position these on the template and create a kind of cool arrangement. So I'm happy with this arrangement. I'm just going to turn off my sketch here. I want to make a mask, basically a bit like a white circle to sort of block all those flowers. So what I'll do is I'll grab my selection tool and I'll set it to ellipse. And let's zoom out here. I'm going to draw a big ellipse here, pretty much as circular as I can get it. And I'm going to make sure I'm on a new blank layer. I'm going to grab, normally I'd recommend using white, but just so we can see it on screen, I'm just going to use this green color. So we have this big green circle we can move around. And I'm going to position this until I'm happy with what part of my arrangement here I see. Okay, I'm happy with that. Maybe move it down just a little bit, or maybe there, like that. That's perfect. And now what I'll do is I'll grab all of my floral elements. They're all on different layers. I'm going to merge them back onto one layer, just like that. And then I'm going to make a duplicate of that layer. So now I have two of them. And I'm going to grab my move tool and I can move one of those copies. And as long as it's underneath our circle here, I can position it over on the bottom like this. And I'm going to try to match what I've done at the top here. And the reason I made this green is just so we can see it clearly. What I want to do is select that green circle, go to hue, saturation, and brightness, and then I can just brighten it until it turns pure white. Now I have this blank white area in the middle, and this is where I'm going to arrange all my text. And since I'm really bad at lettering, I'm just going to use the text tool, and I want to do it with black lettering. So I'll select a black color, I'll make a new layer on top of everything, and then I'll go to the wrench, go to add, and then I'll click add text. Then I can just type text and then just make a nice layout here in the circle. So there we go. I've placed my text in there and just kind of lined it up in the circle. Now what I'm going to do is export this whole thing as a PNG image. Not because PNGs are transparent. There's no transparency here. I'm just saving it as a PNG actually because a PNG is the highest quality of image that Procreate can export. So I want to do one more thing first though. If I zoom in here, you can see the paper texture in the background. On all of my paper textures, that's an independent feature you can turn off. So what I'm going to do is go to the layers panel, open up the paper texture, and you're going to see some option here called paper background or background option. Just uncheck that, and you'll notice the white area becomes pure white, but it doesn't affect the watercolor texture itself. So now I've got all of my artwork here, and I'm going to export this as a PNG image. So after I've exported this as a PNG, I'm going to go over to my gallery page and open up one of my 5x7 folding card guides. And I'm going to give you guys a free download for this in the description of this video. I'm going to include a letter size or an A4 size. So if you're in America, the USA, use the letter size. Pretty much everywhere else in the world, your home inkjet printer will use A4 size paper, so grab that one. And if you have any problems downloading this or adding it to Procreate, I'm also going to put another link in the description to a video where I'll describe some download instructions and maybe some common problems you might run into. But I'm guessing 99% of you will be pretty comfortable downloading files onto your iPad and then sending them to Procreate, so it probably won't be a problem. But since I'm not in the US, so I'm going to use the A4 size, and it looks just like this. It just has the title here and then a dotted line where we're going to cut it out. So let's position that. I'll make a new layer, and I'm going to place the artwork we just made. So I'll go to add, insert a photo, and then all photos, and then here's our artwork. There we go. And you'll notice it's covering up pretty much everything because our photo has a white background. Our image here has a white background. So if I move this over to the side, you can see our template there. So I want to see the template through this image. So a quick trick, if you're having this issue where the white background is blocking the template, go in the layers panel, click on the transparency mode, and just change it over to multiply. And then suddenly all the white areas become transparent, and we can see our guides. So let's position this on the template like that. There we go. So this is a folding card. So that's going to be the center fold. So make sure you do it over here on the right side. So when we fold it, this will be the front of the card. So here's what it looks like after I print it out. And next I'm going to cut this out and then fold it in half. And here's the final result here. And I know the artwork on this is really simple when you compare it to some of my other tutorials, but I really just wanted kind of an excuse to show off these templates. And I'll put links to both of these 5x7 templates in the description. And when it's, it folds in half, it's a really simple kind of a card template. And I did make one more I want to show you. This one too. This is a painting I did quite a while ago, but I decided to make it into a card. And it's just a fun thing. So let me know what you guys think of this. If you have any suggestions for future videos, I'd love to hear from you. You can leave a comment on this video or send me an email directly. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for your support. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.